released a statement saying, quote, a central goal of our season restart will be to utilize the NBA's platform to bring attention and sustained action to issues of social injustice. Lakers guard Avery Bradley responded to that by telling reporters, quote, regardless of how much media coverage will be received, talking and raising awareness about social injustice isn't enough. Protesting during an anthem and wearing a T-shirt, it's great, but we need to see real actions being put into the work. So, Shannon, who is making the better points?
Skip, I think both guys make compelling points, but what Avery Bradley and some of these other guys need to understand, you're talking about a system that's been in place for 400 years. Skip, do you understand how long it takes bills to become law? They don't happen overnight. They don't. And I think these guys want immediate gratification for something that's not going to happen. Sure. And you want sponsors and you want the NBA to invest in these communities. And I absolutely agree with you. But invest in what? Well, you want them to buy more computers? You want them to invest in what do you want them to do? What's the organization that you want them to invest in? What do you want them to do with that money? Okay, they say they do that. Then what? That's why, and that's the thing. Okay, you tell them what you want them to do, but you do understand these things take time.
Yep.
You're dealing with a system. You're dealing with institutions that have been in place. The NBA has been playing basketball for 70 years. The system that you're trying to dismantle and topple has been in place for 401 years. It's not going to happen overnight. Sure, you can add pressure and says, okay, guys, we've seen you've been promising, and the promises have been falling by the wayside. So I need to see actions. Okay, I get that. And you can hold their feet to the fire. But I agree with Adam Silver. The attention that the NBA can bring, the heightened attention, because we're craving live sports, Skip. People are going to watch. And so I agree with Avery Bradley. I think the high-end practices, I think front office, I think coaches, I think there are a lot of things they can do with the NBA. The NBA and asking their sponsors to invest in the black communities, I get all of that. But I believe you can do two things and still go play this game. And it's still bringing attention, just like you're bringing attention now with your boys. Don't shortchange yourself. You're having more of an impact than you actually think.
Yep.
And athletes have always been at the forefront of movement, Skip. You look at Muhammad Ali in the 60s, you look at the Summit with Bill Russell when they were with Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson. So, Skip, athletes have normally been at the forefront of movements when it came to race issues in America.
True.
Because they watch them.
Yep.
And people listen to what they have to say. You might not like it, but people will listen to what an athlete have to say. So I believe Avery Bradley makes compelling points, and I believe Adam Silver is absolutely right. This is an opportunity for them to draw even more attention. And it's also for the players to say, look, NBA sponsors, ask your sponsors, we need you to invest. You see the NFL gave $250 million. Brand Jordan is going to give $100 million. I think Adidas,
over 10 years.
Over 10 years. Adidas is going to give $100 million.
Yep.
So, Skip, there are things that people are starting to do, but you can ask for more. But I believe in the process, it's going to take time, but you continue to persevere, move on, and still these changes will come about.
Well, I'd like to know where that money is going, how it's earmarked.
Exactly.
And I would like to know the outcome of how much impact did every dollar exactly have on all the issues we've been talking about.
Correct.
No idea.
None.
What happened to the $89 million pledged in 2017 by the NFL to social justice causes?
I don't think all of it's been spent, but we'll see. We'll see. Skip, I think the thing is, over the next, 5 to 10 years, we'll see the impact that this money going into these communities, we'll see the kind of impact that it's had.
So, Shannon Sharpe always reminds me, two things can be true. Two sides can make good points.
Yes.
They can both be right. But I'm still saying Avery Bradley's side is righter. And I hate to say it because I got a head versus heart conflict, but I'm right where I was 24 hours ago. My head is with Commissioner Silver, and I do agree with his points about it's our responsibility to this country to play basketball. That's what we do. We want to show everybody that we did not let the virus win. We triumphed over the virus. So that does my heart good a little bit, but I'm thinking with my head because obviously right here, right now, our very livelihood is depending on this league playing and especially the National Football League playing. Right. God bless them both. I hope they can figure out how to do it even without fans.
Right.
But my heart, the deepest part of my heart continues to be with this new coalition because All the points are very valid. And I find it highly ironic that after we all agreed, and you've said for many years, LeBron James is the #1 activist in all of sports. He has the most powerful voice, the most insightful voice when it comes to racial injustice in this country. He's been magnificent in stepping out on all of his platforms to say, no, 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 enough, enough, enough. And all of a sudden, his quietest teammate, a guy I didn't really give a second thought to, Avery Bradley, I always knew him as a lockdown, tough-minded defender who could shoot the three pretty well, a starter for the Lakers, but sort of the quietest, least thought about of the starters, right? All of a sudden, his voice is becoming more powerful than LeBron's at this moment, because LeBron's been all about, we're going to play. So all of a sudden, LeBron can't really say much more than, I'm all in to play. So he's going to have to wait until the platform returns. As Commissioner says, we're dedicating this platform to speaking out on all the racial issues this country is facing. And LeBron will seize the day. We're still waiting for something from him, but you brought up the point. I thought it was a good one yesterday. He already spoke. He said, I'm in. There's nothing he can do. So it felt like yesterday he was being attacked a little bit by Kyrie, like being backed into a corner. Hey, over here, I'm leading the coalition. We had 100 players on a conference call on Friday night. And they're all doubtful about should we play or should we not. Well, now the sort of the brains of the operation, the strongest voice is now belonging to Avery Bradley, a teammate of LeBron's. And he did make the point again yesterday, the actual act of sitting out, not playing in Orlando, doesn't directly fight systemic racism. Okay, I got it. But it does highlight the reality that without black athletes, the NBA would not be what it is today. Yes.
Neither would the NFL.
Nothing would be. You've made that point dozens of times. He's just, I'm not saying he's threatening. He's just spitting out a fact that, hey, there's a point to be made here. If we all decide let's not go to Orlando and we withhold something that is dear to all of our hearts, which is watching these gifted players play this game we all love, it would be a resounding statement that would continue to focus our attention on racial injustice. Would it become negative? Would we sort of hold it against the players? Would it sort of turn on them? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But I get his point. I get his thrust. And again, we got Kyrie talking about, let's take our ball and go home. Let's start another league. I just don't know how realistic that is. Let's start our own league.
Skip, there have been 3 leagues that tried to go up against the NFL, and all of them have ended up in bankruptcy court.
Including the Lakers.
The USFL, the XFL, and now the world, whatever this was, Skip. It's not happening.
Well, and the XFL returned.
And belly up again.
Yeah, belly up.
You have to understand they have such a long Tiger Woods even thought about it for just a second, like, I can't do it.
They did. The best of the golfers thought, should we make our own circuit over here?
It's not happening. So, but for me, Skip, you got to be careful, because I believe you're fighting for the same things and you're starting to splinter. And they're starting to look they're fighting amongst themselves. They don't even really know how to go about this. So why wouldn't we just sit back here, let them figure it out, and then when they come up with a plan.
You have always warned about this. Yes. Right?
Yes, and that's what we're seeing. I hate this. I believe that I just think we're getting too many guys, and everybody, we got to do this, and we got to do this, and we got to do this. What are the most important things that you would want to have happen immediately?
Okay.
What you want to get started on? This police brutality, injustices that we see. Okay, Skip, I get the hiring practices, and I want that too. I want everybody to get a fair opportunity. But Skip, I believe this injustice issue should be at the forefront.
Okay.
I'm not saying these other things shouldn't be on the stove, but I believe the front burner should be that.
Okay, so we have seen Minneapolis, California cities say no more chokeholds.
Right.
So that was a start, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's the kind of reform you want to see.
But they said that, but Skip, but they just said, then the president comes out and is like, but Skip, every time they use deadly force, they say, I felt my life was threatened. So then the ban is nothing. So every time Name the officer that said, I just shot just for fun. They're always going to say my life felt threatened. That's why he did it. The guy that had his knee in his back, he's going to say, well, I felt threatened, even though the guy was handcuffed. With Eric Gardner, when they choked him out, I felt threatened. When Walter Scott was running, he felt threatened. So it's nothing.
Rayshawn Brooks running?
Yeah, he's running.
With a taser?
He's running away. Skip, it's the same thing, Skip. If somebody breaks into my house, I have the right to use deadly force to protect person and property.
Okay.
Once he leaves my premises, the threat is diffused. I can't run outside and shoot him in the back.
Okay, got it. You cannot.
No.
You can't cross that threshold.
No.
Nope, you cannot. So I did like it that Avery Bradley at least had some specifics that he wants addressed within the NBA.
Right.
More black vendors,
Right.
do more business with more black companies.
Yes.
Okay, love that.
Yeah.
And love this even more. More black representation in management decision-making positions,
Okay.
because there are only 4 black GMs with decision-making, with the buck stops here kind of power. Obviously, it stops upstairs with the owner. But as far as hiring, firing, there are only 4. Well, wait a second. There are only 2 in the NFL, but it's not like the NBA is running away with equality, right?
Exactly.
I don't see equality there. So he's saying, time out. We need to start here and address it within our ranks. Right? I love that. So now we have.
But see, Skip, that's something that we can see over, say, in the next, if you say, okay, over the next five years, we need 20% of the vendors in these arenas to be black owned. And over the next 5 years, we need to see, somewhere between 5 and 8 general managers or something like that. Skip, that's an easy fix. I think the more harder fixes, the racial